So the last few days, I've been going down a bit of a rabbit hole involving some of the knockoffs from whenever I was a kid. So even though I grew up in an upper middle class family, I very rarely did not have some kind of knockoff in my house. For instance, Fruit Loops, never heard of them. Tutti Fruities, however.
Delicious.
And the farther I went down this rabbit hole, I was able to rediscover probably my favorite form of knockoff, the knockoff animated movies. I was, however, very surprised to see that one of my favorite movies of all time, the animated children's film from the Czech Republic, Toys in the Attic, is actually considered by many to be a knockoff. But a knockoff of what, you may be asking? It's a knockoff of Toy Story. Now, while the Toy Story parallels are certainly there are many things about this movie that make it stand out. For instance, this movie can be downright terrifying sometimes. And after watching this movie again for the first time in about 7 years, I realized I just have to make a video showing all my 100 of YouTube followers just how amazing this is, to open your eyes to the misunderstood masterpiece that is Toys in the Attic. The movie opens on, you guessed it, an attic where we meet our main characters, who are, you guessed it, toys. The first character we meet is Buttercup, a doll who sort of acts as a housemaid to her roommates, or housemates. I'm not really too sure what their dynamic is exactly. But these housemates just so happen to be the other main characters in the movie. Teddy, the lovable teddy bear who sort of acts as the voice of reason. Sir Handsome, who is a knight and very handsome. And Lawrence. I do not like Lawrence. He's very weird looking. He does, however, have quite the dump truck.
What the heck?
While the rest of her housemates are getting ready for the day, Buttercup is seen baking a cake and preparing a dice with a picture of a cake on it. You see, if one of these characters rolls the dice and it lands on the cake, it is now their birthday, which isn't really how that works, but hey, that's the Czech Republic for you, I guess.
I'm not playing. That's Teddy's third birthday in a row.
We also learned that Teddy has won 3 days in a row, so I wonder if that means he's like 3 years older in 3 days or something like that. Now, while Teddy is eating this cake like an absolute glutton, I want you all to remember this cat. There will be a test later on, and no, there will not be a curve. Once all the toys eat their literal paint for breakfast, they head off to their jobs at the train station, where Teddy is the station master, if you can even call him that.
Don't work too hard.
Lawrence is the conductor of the train, and Sir Handsome just slays dragons. Why not?
Au revoir.
I'm off to slay that dragon brute, my little princess, plump and cute.
And this scene in particular is where I really have to hand it to this movie. The world building is amazing, and the way the trains and the buildings are designed is just perfect for this movie. The incorporation of the 2D crayon and paper art as like windows and mirrors is chef's kiss, it's perfect. But what's even more perfect is how caked up they made Lawrence. Seriously, there was no reason to give him such a defined caboose. Something else I just have to point out is that once Sir Handsome slays the dragon, which is just like an oven mitt, he then has to pay this monkey that, I'm gonna be honest, looks like Curious George from hell to basically revive the dragon. The Czech Republic, everybody.
Good grief! You have pierced my dragon again!
So now we enter the main villain of this movie, the Head. He uses this weird eye tube thing that I honestly might have to blur, basically as his way to spy on all the toys in the attic. But the most notable person he spies on is Buttercup. Something I didn't mention earlier is that everybody is in love with Buttercup, even the people she lives with, which that is just a recipe for disaster. So this would naturally explain why the Head would want anything to do with her, because I guess he thinks she's hot.
What a lovely fair gem. Oh.
At last I see you, my doll. Such soft and delectable hair. Plump little fingers.
Plump little fingers? Okay, dude. Okay, a giant stone head having a crush on a porcelain doll is one thing, but to sexualize her? Cat's back. You remember the cat, right? The one I said to remember like 3 minutes ago? Well, it turns out this is no ordinary cat. This is Tomcat. Tomcat has the ability to change clothes and also talk. But anyway, Tomcat messes with the train tracks, which, by the way, I love the fact that the train tracks are made of chalk. It's a very nice touch. Causing Lawrence to crash the train, which the Head and his cronies find very funny. After the train crashes, the Head decides to proceed with Operation Buttercup. Take a wild guess as to what that might be. The Head sends this ladybug with a cage and all these little ladybugs inside of it to eat into the suitcase house, and I don't know, bother Buttercup? I'm not sure what this guy was thinking, but there is no way that those little bugs are going to be able to do anything to Buttercup except mildly infuriate her. So now we have the cliche with every toy movie where the human enters the room and the toys have to pretend to be toys. This is an extremely common trope in movies like this. And by that I mean movies about toys, because I guarantee you there's no movie like this one. But anyways, a young girl and her grandmother walk into their attic, and the young girl goes around playing with some of the toys that we've seen so far, including, of course, Buttercup, who she takes out of the suitcase, seemingly saving her from a, let's be honest, mild threat at best, only to then leave her on a shelf. Oh shoot, Lawrence survived the crash. I hope he doesn't get stepped on or anything.
I scraped it off.
Are you not some kind of gunk?
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Friends, where are you?
What's wrong, Buttercup? Nobody here?
So the cat's back. Again. Now somehow Tomcat is able to convince Buttercup to jump off the ledge of the shelf onto the ground, and then he points her in the direction of where her home is.
Follow your nose.
Spoiler alert, he points her in the wrong direction. He's actually pointing her towards the head. Poor Buttercup. If only she learned. Stranger danger.
This is the station master. Go ahead.
Teddy, listen to me. Mrs. Nemetchkova threw Buttercup into the mountains. Run quick for Sir Ansem.
So before you say anything, yes, Lawrence used a real phone to call Teddy. No, it is never explained, and I love that. Teddy then teams up with Sir Handsome to go rescue their damsel in distress.
Who dares come this way to interrupt my swordplay?
So I have kind of an embarrassing confession to make right now. We are 30 minutes into the movie, and I'm just now realizing that Sir Handsome talks in rhymes.
What kind of spell has fate ignited to drive you to me so excited?
The entire time we're watching this movie, I'm so confused every time this guy opens his mouth. I can never understand a word he's saying. I mean, he may as well be speaking in Czech for all that matters, because I don't know what he's saying. Turns out the whole time he was just a poet. Something else I'm going to mention is the animation inconsistencies, especially with Teddy in the head. Sometimes Teddy will be a stop motion bear, and other times he's a poorly animated bear. And with the head, sometimes it's an actual statue with a mouth kind of edited onto it, and then sometimes it's a real head. Czech Republic, make up your mind, please. Eventually, Buttercup stumbles her way to the head's realm and is then kidnapped by a bird, which is just a dirty-ass rag. So anyway, she's brought to the head where she splashes water on him, obviously pissing him off, so he decides to punish her. As punishment, he throws her into a furnace where she is to sweep soot. She has to sweep it all up, I guess. Now, I hope you're all paying attention, because this is without a doubt the craziest part of this movie. If Buttercup does not sweep all the soot, she will be fed to the cannibals. Teddy and Sir Handsome make their way to Madame Curie. No, not the real Madame Curie. This thing. Madame Curie is an inventor mouse who Teddy and Sir Handsome are hoping will basically send out a signal to everybody, kind of alerting them of what's happened. But then Madame Curie says, hey, I'll do you one better. I'm just going to round everybody up, and we're just going to, meet you there.
Go to the mountains. We will catch up with you there. Yay!
So the ragtag duo leave and head to the mountains, where we see literally my favorite scene in the entire movie.
The storm ahead is cause for dread. But we must be brave and forge ahead. Keep moving! Hold! Grasp! Be fearless!
So if you didn't catch on, the clouds are just pillows, the water is, I guess, some kind of a sheet, and the mountains are shelves. I think that as someone who, I adore animation, I love this. I think this is such a cool touch, because the animators very easily could have just called them shelves, or these are just pillows, or this is just a blue sheet. But the route they went on really adds to the toys in the attic element, where it really feels like everything is through the lens of a child. More on that later. After a long day of travel, the two set up camp in a forest to sleep, and then Teddy has this absolutely terrifying nightmare that he's being cooked alive in an Italian restaurant. Madame Curie eventually is able to round everybody up in Toy Town, which is the name that I just came up with for the town, and they all get into her plane that she's built. But this is no ordinary plane. This plane, to fly, has to be plugged in, and they don't have an extension cord.
Oh no.
Oh, they're fine, by the way, if you even cared.
Buttercup!
Now, the head is able to see this using his little buddy and decides to flood them with what looks like a black trash bag, kind of similar to the blue sheet before. Again, really cool. Love that element of the movie.
They're trying to drown us! Quickly, come with me!
Pause. Now, I know what you're thinking. How are they going to get out of this one?
Get on board! Everybody, quickly!
Boat. They turned the plane into a boat in about 8 seconds. Wow, they even had time to write SS Buttercup on the side. They must have insane time management skills. But the head's head-on assault doesn't end there. He then fires a giant cannonball at their boat, sinking it. Pause. Now I know what you're thinking. How are they going to get out of this one? Submarine. They built a submarine out of the boat in about 5 seconds. Now, I should also mention that around this time, Buttercup is actually able to escape the furnace, or whatever this is, but is found by that darn cat. As a punishment, the head gets his little bug friend, who is actually a doctor apparently, to perform what I can only assume is a lobotomy.
Do I please you, dear?
Kiss me on the forehead, angel.
But when the toys finally get close enough to see what's happening, they notice that she's feeding the head jello during the party that the head throws because he thinks he kills the toys, which naturally upsets everybody, so they decide to go rescue her.
A schoolboy far from meek leads us to what we seek.
Teddy! I'm here, Teddy!
Buttercup.
Don't get your hopes up, this is not the real Buttercup. You see, what the Dr. Bug thing actually did was clone Buttercup, and what the team ends up finding are in fact her clones. I would be willing to bet $5 good that you did not see this coming when you clicked on the video.
This way. What?
Oh, my goodness.
Uh-oh, we got a bit of a situation.
Can you tell me, Sir Handsome, where did you find her?
What did you say? I cannot hear. You should be happy I saved our dear.
I rescued her from the water. Just look at me.
Okay, who invited this guy? Because for the whole movie, it has been Teddy and Sir Handsome. And then this guy just shows up, thinks he's part of the friend group or something, looking like this.
Who I freed?
Are you blind? I'm Buttercup. Where did you get her? I'm Buttercup. I'm Buttercup. Boy, I'm the real Buttercup. You're fake. No, you're fake. Stop hitting me. You're fake.
Somehow the mouse finds a real Buttercup, which triggers an alarm set up by the head, which makes him very, 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 very mad. So mad, in fact, he starts to smoke.
Let go of me, you crazy man!
I swear to God, Laurent cannot do anything right. I don't even know why he's in this movie. I stand corrected. As anticlimactic as that was.
Quickly! Everyone come here! Come help me!
No, don't touch me. Don't crowd. Slowly. That's it. Carefully. Buttercup, wake up.
She's not moving. I have an idea. I know mouse to mouse.
Okay, seriously, who is this guy? He kind of reminds me of Skippy the Virgin, and that is not a compliment. Using his magic medicine that is literally never explained once in the movie, Teddy is able to awaken Buttercup from her slumber, and they all live happily ever after. Wait, what is Teddy doing?
Oh, to dear Teddy, this must be funny. Oh. Huh?
Pause. Now I know what you're thinking. How is Teddy gonna get out of this one? Helicopter. They turn the submarine into a helicopter in about 2 seconds. And now they live happily ever after, celebrating everyone's birthday because this whole event made them born anew or something like that. Very, very sweet ending to a very sweet movie. Now, to be honest, I actually really love this movie. The animation and world building has, in my opinion, the perfect blend of obscurity and also, like, horror. That being said, this movie does have a lot of flaws that I'd like to talk about. If you don't mind, of course. You see, the movie has a ton of plot holes, pretty much no character development, and let's be honest, a very basic plot that we've all seen 100 times over. And the only real redeeming thing, on the surface at least, about this movie is what I've already talked about, like the animation and the world building. But why I think this movie is a quote-unquote masterpiece and not exactly a Toy Story knockoff, although I can definitely see why someone would say that, is because everything in this movie is shown to us as if through the lens of a child's imagination. Let me explain. Everything from the trains made of suitcases, the sheets being used as water, and the birds literally just being dirty ass rags, all the way to the plot and the characters. Think back to when you were a kid and all you had to do all day was play with your toys, or I guess whatever you could get your hands on. Were you concerned with continuity and character development? Because I sure wasn't. I think this explains a lot of the inconsistencies of the movie, like the plane, boat, sub, helicopter, or how on earth this thing was able to make so many buttercups. It doesn't make sense because it's just a kid using their imagination, and it's not supposed to. What I don't mean, however, is I don't mean a kid is like playing the whole movie like with their toys. I mean it in more of like a meta sense, basically. And to be honest, if this is the case, then I think this movie captures the energy of a child's imagination perfectly. The clock specifically is what really makes me think my theory is correct. It provides closure to what happens to the villains and also like all the buttercups that say a child may not know how to properly handle without some kind of convenient plot device. So perhaps the toys in the attic were the friends we made along the way. And this whole movie is an expertly crafted story about the innocence of childhood. Or maybe I'm wrong, this is just a weird-ass knockoff movie. Either way, I've loved this movie since I was a little kid, and I've kind of been sitting on this theory for a while, so I thought I would share it with you guys. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. We hit 130 subscribers, which is really crazy, and I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really mean it when I say that. The amount of positive feedback I've gotten on my last few videos has been so cool. I really wasn't expecting so many people to enjoy what I do, and I plan on continuing doing it. I know it took me a while to get this video out. I have my other videos lined up and ready to go, just need to record them. So hopefully those are out sooner rather than later. But yeah guys, thank you once again for everything, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.